Hi guys, my name is Amelia. I am a transgendered woman and I am here to start documenting my transition. I am at the very beginning of my transition and clearly you can hear I still have a lot of things I need to work on, particularly the voice. But if you have any advice, I would love to hear it. Um, yeah, so I figure now is probably a good time for a introduction, a little bit about myself. I am a photo video geek. I am a videographer and motion graphics designer by trade, but right now that's only to pay the bills. I'm also a volunteer EMT, and one day I want to become an ER physician. That requires going back to school for me, which is going to be a lengthy process, but excuse me. But hopefully I am going to become an ER physician one day. A little bit about EMTs for those of you who don't know. EMTs are the rung below paramedics. The pecking order is EMTs, paramedics, charge nurses, and ER physicians are above them. EMTs are the ones who drive the ambulance. We transport patients. We are often the first medics on scene. We are in charge of the documentation and a lot of the legal sides as well. Paramedics are EMT plus. They get to administer a lot more things than we can. For example, we can't give out medicine because we don't have a lot of the combination training. For example, giving someone a painkiller before they're going to the hospital may hinder their healing process later on because the doctor realizes they have a strange condition which the particular painkiller we gave them counteracts or makes worse. And we didn't have the training for that, so we couldn't have known. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm very early in my transition, and I'm always looking for help and guidance. And if you have anything that you want to help, or if you see anything that's wrong, or if you have any just general advice, I'd appreciate it. The one piece of advice I can offer at first, at least, is the little bit that I've noticed from my own process, which is, while a lot of the male-to-female sites are wonderful, they are bastions of support, and they are great for certain things. They aren't necessarily the best thing in the world because they are going to show you all of the symptoms. They are going to show you all of the things that people notice as feminine. But if you accent all of those things, you aren't necessarily going to appear feminine. You're going to appear like a caricature of a female, because you're accenting all of the details instead of embracing the thing that causes those details. The perfect example that I have right now is the walk. My first few attempts at the walk were flat out embarrassing to my fiance. Say hi, wonderful fiance. They were flat out embarrassing because I wasn't being feminine. I was, for lack of a better term, I was being a tranny. Because what I was doing was focusing on all of the details without eliminating the things that made me masculine, that made my walk masculine. Whereas what I learned later on was I should be looking not at the websites that show and the advice from people on how to transition, but rather advice women give each other on how to be more feminine, because a lot of that, like a lot of the finishing school techniques, don't just focus on what makes someone appear feminine. They focus on what you should be thinking about to create the things that make you appear feminine. And when you do that, a lot more of the details fall into place. The walk, for example, I ended up taking a book and putting it on my head and practicing walking like that. All of the symptoms, the proper posture, the extra hip rotation and the placement of your on the balls of your feet, all of that comes naturally from that. If you focus on the hip rotation and walking on the balls of your feet, you're going to look like a little bit like a runway model. But even runway models don't look like runway models when they're walking down the grocery store. Well, yeah, that's my 2 cents and my introduction. If you have any advice, there's comments down there. Feel free to leave me one. I'd appreciate it. Yeah. Hi, Internet. Peace.